Welcome everyone to the third Thursday meetup of the West Orlando WordPress Meetup Group. I'm Rob Watson, a co-organizer and host, and West Orlando WordPress is an official WordPress meetup group and is affiliated with the main WordPress Orlando and WordCamp US meetup groups. Google is announcing that Core Web Vitals will become ranking signals in May 2021 in an update that will also combine existing UX-related signals. GTmetrix.com allows users to test the performance of their web pages, and they have recently updated their algorithm to include Core Web Vitals. In this presentation, Allan will give a short overview of CWV and review some of the plugins he uses to optimize websites for speed. He'll give a short overview for each plugin and test results once implemented. Allan has presented with us before, and we are so happy to have him back for another discussion. Allan is a web developer and digital marketer and loves traveling, eating, and spending time with his two kids. Allan has run his one-man agency, Fuel Web Media, for 10 years and is self-taught in WordPress. At this point, I'd like to invite everyone to mute their microphones for the presentation. And Allan, thank you for being our presenter this evening. The time is now yours.
Thanks, Rob. So I have, like I was telling these guys before the recording part came on, I have 17 tabs open here. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to look at, a lot to see. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let me do present now. And I'm going to do a window. Which window? The Meet window. And let me put it over here. So can you guys, whoops. Can you guys see the Brave browser? Or which one do you see?
Browser reimagined.
All right, cool. That's the one. So before I start, I wanted just to say that I'm using the Brave browser here. It's a Chromium based. What's cool about it is it disables all the trackers and stuff that you get tracked in on the web, and it just basically saves you time. So this is just an example. Like if I open a new tab here, see if you can see this, you'll see that over 300,000 trackers and ads have been blocked from my browser, and it saved me 4 hours so far just from switching the browser. And it uses it. I imported my Chrome stuff, and it works exactly like Chrome. There are a couple of things that I found that are a little difficult for it to handle, like pulling in like Google Analytics into tools and stuff like that. You actually have to be in Chrome. You can't let them block you, or it won't pull it in correctly. But take a look at the Brave browser. It's really cool. I'm not a paid endorser. Like Rob said in the intro, I've been doing this for about 10 years. I started with WordPress 24, which was about 2007, I think. I can't remember how long ago that was back then. Back prior to themes and layouts and builders. Before all that, there was HTML, and that's how we manipulated the files, even within WordPress. Got a lot of experience with meetups, and I've been here with the West Orlando group since November of 2018. All right, so this is my disclaimer. I am not an expert at speed optimization. I'm just learning about Core Web Vitals and how it affects my website and my client websites. So I just wanted to show what I've learned so far after working on a few, and we're going to go and look at my business website and see how it affects the test results in there just from having some of these plugins that we're going to discuss uploaded and configured. So what we're going to cover today, just a few things. PageSpeed, the basic introduction to Core Web Vitals and what that is. A couple of the testing websites that you'll need to use in order to start to work on your site or your client sites. We'll take a look at the test results and what those mean and how to maneuver around in each of them, and take a look at a bunch of plugins: caching, CDN, image optimization, asset management. We're going to take a look at a few and some of them I have loaded on my site, so we'll be able to go in there and actually look at some of the options that they have. And I'll save some time, hopefully, at the end for Q&A. All right, Google Core Web Vitals. So about a year ago, Google said that they were going to roll this out, and what it does is kind of measures the experience your user has on your website. So they want it to be kind of within a certain range in order to rank well and have your users have the best experience in it. We'll go through the three things that are in it are these three things. The largest contentful paint, which is LCP. What that is not to be confused with largest, or wait, there's another one that's contentful paint, but one is the largest and one is like the longest or something like that. And this one is the one that gives you the longest load time. So once it's loaded up, then you can interact with the site, which goes into first input delay, FID. That's when your users can feel like they can start maneuvering around in your site or doing things on it, clicking on things, interacting with things on your site. And then cumulative layout shift, CLS, is part of the visual stability experience, where sometimes, I know when you're on some clickbait sites, when you go to click on something and it moves out of the way, that's the layout shift, and Google does not like that. It's kind of a shady practice, and what you'll see in like marketing sites is sometimes you have a big hero image and it'll make your site move without you knowing it, unless you actually add the sizes into the site itself. So the image on the left here, the Core Web Vitals are the top three, what we just talked about. And these four things have already been put into the Metrix by Google. It has to be mobile friendly now, safe browsing, HTTPS, the SSL certificate has to be there, and no intrusive interstitials. I'm not even sure what that means. So I guess that's one of the metrics as well. So to be in the good, needs improvement, or poor range of LCP, Google says it has to be under 2.5 seconds or faster. That's the time it takes for the main content to load. So we'll go through and look at the test results and see if my site can get underneath that. And then the FID has to be under 100 milliseconds. That's when again, interactivity, that's the first time a user can actually start interacting with your site. And then the cumulative layout shift has to be less than 0.1, which sounds like a crazy number to me, but I haven't had a lot of success getting underneath this number, and you'll see in my test results here that what I'm getting so far. So I'm still working on this one, but the other two, I've got pretty good scores by using some of the plugins that we're going to talk about here. So let's talk about the running speed tests. So a couple of the main sites that you're going to want to use are gtmetrix.com and Google PageSpeed, where they use an algorithm called Lighthouse. Both of them now have that integrated into their algorithm to test your site. So you can see in the list here, keep in mind that if you're going to use GTmetrix, create a free account, and then you can go in there and do several tests on your site, and then that will give you kind of a base range, because if you run one test, it's not always accurate. So you got to run a few and then kind of get a average, and then start looking at what Google keeps telling you is wrong with it. And then take a look at your load times, your page size, your requests. Both of the tests have similar matrix, so you can see and compare from both sides what your ratings are and how to improve those. And then I guess the last one here says GTmetrix has different load times because you can also change like where the server is that you're testing from. It defaults to Vancouver, Canada. So when you do create your free account, I'll show you where to go do this at. You can change it to a closer one, probably somewhere in the United States. So within the presentation here, I have a few slides that are called the to-do list. So a couple of them will just kind of remind you on what to do. So we're going to run Google PageSpeed, determine my score, and we're going to take a look at GTmetrix here. So Google PageSpeed Insights, this is a screenshot of one of the tests that I ran earlier, yesterday actually. And this is the ranges again. So you'll see my FCP was 0.8, which is under the 2.5 recommended to be good. The FID, where is that thing at? Time to interactive, I think, is 1.1. I got green on there. Wait, that can't be it. Can it? 10 milliseconds? No, that's blocking. LCP is the largest. Oh, largest contextual is 1.2, sorry. So largest and first was what I was trying to figure out. Largest is when the largest thing on the page has finished loading. And then the CLS, you'll see here that I got a 0.478, which is about twice as much as what they want for a poor score. So like I said, I'm still trying to work on that one. I have links here to get you to this site, but I'm going to actually take us right now to Google PageSpeed's Insights. Hopefully it goes with my presentation. Can you see the page here? Yeah, it looks like you can. So here I'm on the desktop. I got a 93, which is pretty good. And these are the scores that you just saw here. But then as you scroll down, it'll give you more and more information. So my opportunity here is to eliminate render blocking resources. So if I click on that, it'll give me more information, and will also give me some URLs on what the test has found to be some of the culprits of these things. So as you scroll down, you'll see some other things. I don't have width and heights on some of my images for the images. So these are all the things that you can work on to improve the speed of your site, and then come back here and rerun your test. There's also a mobile too, which I didn't do very good on. I got a 76 on the mobile. So I'm still working on trying to figure out what I need to do for that. Looks like the render blocking stuff is what's really a thorn in my website side at this point, and figuring out how to do some of these things. And, you know, a lot of it's just going out there and Googling this, and then seeing what's out there as far as like blog posts and like what other people have been doing to fix these types of things, and what they're using for tools, or if they're just doing some coding to get around fixing this stuff. So this is Google PageSpeed Insights. Go back to the presentation here. The second tool to measure with is called GTmetrix. And back before, I don't know if last year, this Web Vitals section wasn't there. It was something else. There was some other metrics that it measured. But this one I actually did, when was this? This was May. Actually, so let's go to GTmetrix, the website here. And I ran this one today at around noon, 12:12, and I actually got a better score than that other one. But again, cumulative layout shift, I'm not quite there yet. This one seemed to be getting closer. But if I keep clicking retest, these numbers change a little bit depending on the time of the day. I don't know if it's you know, picking up the cached version or not. Sometimes that's why you have to run several of them. And as you go through this test, you'll see performance here. This will give you some of the metrics in the performance, the structure. So I'm doing pretty good. All these glow ones are good. If you have red ones, the impact are red, like high, you'll want to try to address those problems first. The waterfall tells you kind of like how long it takes for things to happen. So before anything happens, it takes 322 milliseconds, literally before anything happens on my website. It looks like video and history. I don't know what that stuff is. Oh, these are like all the tests that I ran probably against myself because it saves in there. Oh, I was going to show you when you create your account, you can go to the account settings, and then here in your analysis options, you can default to a different server. The default here is Vancouver, but you can try Texas or Hong Kong or wherever you want to go. And then save your settings down here. Okay, my passwords don't match, so whatever. GT Metrix. So that's how you do it. And then like within your account, if you're testing, like if you're working on client sites, it'll save other URLs for you to go back and retest and that kind of thing. If you pay for an account, I believe you can have it just test automatically and send you the results, which is kind of convenient too. So that's these two tools, Google PageSpeed and GT Metrix, are what you're going to want to measure your metrics with. And for the most part, they're free. They'll give you all the information for free, and then you gotta figure out how to solve the problems. Okay, next up, one of the biggest things on a site is image optimization. You'll see a lot of people who aren't web designers that just load up any size picture, or like clients will send you like 10 megabyte photos, and or they'll just try uploading them right to their sites, and that is really tough on a server, and tough for your users to sit there and wait for it to slowly load images all throughout your site. So you'll see here there's 3 plugins that we'll talk about: Short Pixel, Imagify, and TinyPNG, which is a free one. There's also a paid version that you can do like bulk things with. Your to-dos are to optimize your images with TinyPNG if you want to do the free one, or use one of the plugins, which both of these I believe are paid for versions. Okay, so TinyPNG can be found in the WordPress repository, and what you'll do is let's go take a look at it. Here's the website. What you can do is you can drag and drop like images in here, and then it will you can drag up to 25 megs each, and then what it will do is it will compress them from the original to a smaller file, and you won't lose any quality, and it will be a much smaller file. So this is really where you want to start, is going through your images on your site, making sure that they're the right size for the holder that they're in, or section, or wherever they are. You don't want a 1,000 pixel website like in a 300 pixel wide square. It's just taking time to pull down that large image only to fit like a real small box. So that's, what was that? TinyPNG. Short Pixel is one that I use for my own website and for client sites. So the way that they do theirs is you get like an allocation of credits, so to speak, and then it uses it every month. And then I have a lifetime version. You can get this on AppSumo if you're familiar with that. They have deals on there every once in a while. I got mine around Black Friday, which was like 12,000 credits, and I only use maybe less than 1,000 of them. So let's take a look at those. Here's the Short Pixel website. So you'll see that you can compress images. The original and the compressed one look exactly the same, but you went from 260 kilobytes to 65 kilobytes. So you're for every photo you do that to, you're going to be saving load time, basically. So you can test your website here with their little thing to tell you, that you need to use their tool, of course. But let's take a look in my admin area here. So, okay, so here's my quota. So I have a lifetime deal of 12,000 credits a month. If I refer somebody, I get 100. I've used 938 credits this month on my site and a client site, and so I have 11,000 remaining. So what it does is it goes through and makes sure that they're optimized, that each image is optimized, kind of like a automated system versus using TinyPNG, where you go in and do every image in the right size and then upload it to your site. So you don't actually have to go back and do anything with it. This one kind of keeps doing it on the fly and making sure that everything's good. It uses a CDN to serve up the images, which will save on your load time as well. They even talk about here, did you know about short pixel adaptive images? They talk about GTmetrix and PageSpeed insights complaining about your images. So a lot of times when you run, the first time you run your test on GTmetrix, one of the main things that will be at the top in red will be image sizes. And that'll be the first thing that you'll want to address. So let's take a look. I have my, like I said, I have my website, FuelWeb Media, on a staging server here. So I can activate and deactivate a bunch of these plugins without actually making my website go crazy. So what were we looking at? Short pixel. Let's take a look at the actual settings of the plugin here. So it's pretty easy to set up. You'll see just in your general settings area, there's only a few things that you have to set up. So I set up, I have the API key from the website, and then you can set up lossy, glossy, or lossless. But I'm going to switch this back. Lossy is the recommended one, offers the best compression rate, bang for your buck. Like it says, for most users, they won't notice the difference between the quality. Glossy looks like it creates images almost pixel perfect. Best option for photographers or high quality images on a site. And then lossless is the resulting image is pixel identical with the original image. Just make sure the single pixel looks different in the optimized image compared with the original. In some rare cases, you'll need to use this type of compression. Some technical drawings or images and vector graphics are possible situations. So I just left it on the recommended. I applied this to also do the thumbnails, and it did 1,700 thumbnails. Save and keep backup the original ones in a separate folder, and then I removed like the EXIF data on the image too, which is just metadata that all photos have. It has like geotagged and like what kind of camera it took and aperture and those types of settings in there. I didn't resize anything. In the advanced settings, I didn't really do a whole lot in here. I know the CMYK to RGB version is in there. This is just CMYK is like the print version of color, and RGB is like the monitor version. So you can adjust your image colors for computer screens and mobile screens. I thought that was probably a good idea. Optimize Retina images and optimize PDFs. And then you can exclude any of these thumbnails if you want to. I don't use the Cloudflare API. And then there's some statistics here which are not on because I just activated this plugin on the staging site. So that's what Short Pixel looks like as far as the options are concerned. So what's next? I also use Robin Image Optimizer. This one isn't as well known, but it seems to be working pretty good. There's probably 100 different optimizers out there. These are the ones that we're going to go over, just a handful of them, and probably the popular ones and ones that get talked about a lot. So this is Robin Image Optimizer, free in the WordPress repository. So you can download that and start messing around with it. It has some of the same options that you saw in Short Pixel. It'll ask you those types of things. I don't think I have this. Oh yeah, I do. I have this loaded in here. Let's take a look at the options. Robin. So in the settings here, I don't think that this one has a crazy amount of settings either. Basically bulk optimization. So you can do like your whole server, I guess. Image limit up to 5 megs. Size you save by it says I'll save 72.8% if I use the image optimizer. And then it's also showing me some of the savings that I'll get on some of these images that are kind of big in here. Plugin configuration. Oh yeah, here's the lossless, lossy, and that kind of stuff. And you'll see a lot of the options are similar to each of the plugins here, image optimization plugins. Okay, so let's go back here. There's the link to that as well. Imagify, I don't even have this one loaded up, but Imagify is basically the same as ShortPixel. This is a paid for one as well. Sorry, I didn't tell you how much this one was. Pricing for ShortPixel, I think it was, I don't remember how much this was. So it's $10 for 10,000 images. So that's a lot of images. And then this one is probably similarly priced. Oh, they'll let you do 20 megs per month for free. $10 for unlimited. So this one seems to be a better deal if you have a lot of images to do. But Imagify here is also one of the more popular ones. You'll see that the settings are going to be, kind of the same. Just saving you size on your and load time on your website. Okay, so Imagify. Okay, so next thing we're talking about is caching plugins. This is probably the one that everybody came to see. So caching. So there's two types of caching. There's the server level caching and the caching with a plugin. So caching at the server level means like your server will have like a tool that's built in. I use SiteGround for my hosting, and they have a tool called the SG Optimizer, which is very similar to WP Rocket. It has pretty much all the same settings, but WP Rocket also has a couple more things that it can do because it's a paid-for plugin. It can integrate with other tools as well. But if you're already in SiteGround, go ahead and use that. You don't need to use WP Rocket, but you can use the image optimizers and other things. If you're looking to try to do some caching without having to pay for WP Rocket, W3 Total Cache is out there, which is free, and that is very popular as well. You'll see a lot of that. A lot of people use that one, and we'll go over a couple more. Autoptimize and one more, I think. So on your to-do list, activate caching at the server level or install caching plugin. We're going to take a look at WP Rocket here, which is like probably the most popular one on the market. It does lazy loading, CDN support, DNS prefetching, all these things that you'll have to Google to figure out what they all mean. But let's take a look at their website first. Where is WP Rocket? So as you can see, let me refresh this. Watch this. So when you get in here, it just takes like 2 seconds maybe. And it's got like moving graphics. It's got these graphics behind here. As you go down, you'll see like interactive things, stuff moving around. They're just proving that you can have that type of design and still have a fast website if you use their plugin. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at how much the pricing is for this. It's $50 for a site per year, which isn't bad for what you get, especially the integrations that it will help you with. Oh, where's my site? Let's go here, plugins. And WP Rocket. I didn't have it activated because I had the SG Optimizer activated, but it's okay to have them both on since I'm on the staging server here for a second. I'll turn it off before I get out of here. So here's the settings for WP Rocket, which there are plenty. It starts with the caching. These are all the tools that you have within the plugin. So you'll want to, enable cache on mobile devices, separate cache files for mobile devices if you want to, user cache for logged in users. I don't like this one because when I'm designing and it's caching, it's like not making my changes. So I typically have this one turned off all the time. The lifespan is how long it keeps the cache in there before it deletes it and redoes it. File optimization, all the minify stuff is in here. So you can minify your CSS, your JavaScript, and here's that deferred thing. So I probably need to test this and see if I can load my JavaScript deferred, because that was what I was getting on my GT Metrix test, I believe, that kept telling me to, where was that? It kept telling here, render blocking resources. I think that might be it. But then, you got lazy load up here in the media area for images. So stuff that's like below the fold won't get pulled in until the user scrolls to it. And it will do that also for video. This one's a little trickier, I think. I typically pull in YouTube videos into sites for my clients. I'm not typically hosting videos, so sometimes you need this and sometimes you don't. Like every site is different. Because my site is on Divi, all my options are going to be different than your sites if you're using a different theme and on a different host, of course. So it's kind of a trial and error type of thing with these settings, and then retesting and testing again, enabling something and then retesting again. It's a long process, but as you'll see, Google will reward you if you can get in under their preferred range. Preloading is something that I don't have a very good understanding of how this works, but it looks like it generates a cache starting with the links on your homepage. So it'll start preloading it in the background just from your navigation, or you can activate it with your sitemap if you want to. Some advanced rules. This never cache will be probably used by some of you as a where I use it is on a client site. I have gravity forms installed, and because it was the caching, I guess, settings were so strong that it would just cut out the form itself, so it would just show like a blank page. So I put all that was on there was the gravity form and the header and footer. So I put the URL in here, so it was never cached, and it seems to be working fine now. But they had half a dozen forms in there that just disappeared all of a sudden, and so I started, of course, trying to figure out which plugin was affecting it, and it's typically the caching. Database optimization, you can like get rid of all your revisions and like clean up your site from here. This is pretty nice. We'll go over asset cleanup too by the end of this. CDN, this is a paid for version of $8 a month, but you get the high performance bandwidth and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you an option for a free one that I use later on in the presentation. Let's see, what else is there? Heartbeat. This is like to your server to make sure that it's working or going. Here's some of the add-ons that you can integrate into this. So if you're running Cloudflare or Sucuri, you can integrate your WP Rocket in here, and it gives you probably some sort of metrics and stuff to back and forth between the plugins. Image optimization, they like Imagify because I believe they also build this plugin too. So, oh yeah, here it is. WP Rocket created Imagify. So they want you to use that one. Obviously, you can use whatever you want, but they like that one. So here's some tools to import and export stuff. And the nice thing that they have in here is they have video tutorials. Getting started, finding the best settings, how to check if WP Rocket is caching your site, how to measure the speed of your site, all the stuff we're talking about right now. They have their own videos, and they'll walk you through some short ones. Look like they're all under 3-4 minutes. But this is awesome. Like after you read this, you have much better understanding of how to use their tool and all that stuff. Okay, so let me get out of here. I'm going to deactivate this thing just so it doesn't go nuts, because I have 2 of the same type of plugin running. Let's deactivate. Okay, let's see. So what else we got? Auto-Optimize. A lot of people use this one too. This one is also free in the repository. So you can take a look at this. It's got a bunch of the same types of settings, not quite as many bells and whistles, but this thing could get you to, within the ranges, depending on what kind of site that you have, could get you into the Core Web Vital ranges too. That's Auto-Optimize. And I also have a link on here that how to set up Auto-Optimize for your WordPress site. As I was doing research, I ran across an article, so that might help if you are interested in that. And W3 Total Cache. This one is super popular as well. Also available in the WordPress repository. I think there may be a paid-for version of this, a free and paid version. But again, it's got the same sort of features and benefits, all the caching and all that kind of stuff that you can use on your site. And 1 million+ activations, not bad. They keep it updated. Last update was a week ago, so try that one if you like that. And this one I put in there for Brian because I know he's a fan of Sucuri. I didn't know this, but Sucuri has a DNS level firewall, which means that they can serve cached content to your users before the request reaches your website. So that was very interesting to me because I thought it was just a firewall. Where'd it go? But if you can have some cache settings in there, I don't have Sucuri. I might actually. Let me take that back. Oh yeah, I do. Sucuri's here. So let me take a look at the settings in here. I don't know if this free version is going to have that kind of stuff in there or not. It's got the firewall. It might not do anything because I don't have the API key integrated. It just has my login. Oh, here's settings. Okay, so API key, data storage, log exporter, reverse proxy, IP discoverer, time zone override, import export settings. Oh, I don't know. I'm not seeing anything related to caching, but it may be, in some of these things up here. If you run across it, Brian, let me know, and we can do a follow-up post on the website or something and tell people where to find the caching settings in there. I just thought that was interesting, so I added it in there. Let's see, what's next? CDN, so Content Delivery Network. This is kind of a thing where you set it up, and then all of your website assets are on a super fast server with a super fast connection. And then when your site gets loaded up, it pulls those assets down from the CDN versus from your web host and your web server. This makes it really fast, and it works together to load up quick. So if you want to learn more about what a CDN is here, I got a link to Cloudflare. This, I believe will also says that if you have a properly configured CDN, it will help protect you against malicious DDoS attacks, which was pretty cool. Okay, so CDN, generate an API key at statically.io, install the free plugin from the repository, and add the key. Okay, so let's take a look at Statically. Here's the link. This is a free WordPress CDN. All you got to do is to generate your API key is fill out this little thing here. And once you click the generate key, it'll take you to another page with your key code on it, which you'll probably want to save in like a text file or something like that. And you'll log into your site, add the free plugin called Statically, of course, as well, and add your API. And now things will just start serving from this from Statically. So some of my images will come down from there, or video, that kind of stuff. But this thing seems to have made, so all I'm doing it is for his images here. Let's see if we can see an image. Let's take the big image, for example. So if we go in here and inspect it, it should say it's coming from statically.io. Yep. See right here, it says https cdn.statically.io. So that's pulling the image from the CDN versus my web server at SiteGround. So that's how it pulls up there so fast, as it comes from somewhere else that's faster than the host. Okay, so there's Statically. There's the link. Go ahead and do that. It's super easy to do. That you don't have to do anything besides filling out that form and adding the plugin. So that's an easy one for everybody. And I think this could be the last one, Script Manager plugin. I don't know a whole lot about this. This is the stage that I'm at of going through performance plugins and speed stuff. And as I read more, this is just let me see if I can explain it. So every website has a bunch of plugins, and say for instance your homepage only needs one plugin, like Yoast, and not the other 20. You can control that with a Script Manager plugin, and you can turn it off on a page-by-page basis. You can say, I only want Yoast to load up on my homepage, and that will make it much, much faster. So this is a lot more work, because you got to go page for page, and if you got a really big website, or if your client does, this could take a while. But it'll make your site a lot faster. So the simple things: remove plugins that you don't need. Of course, that's kind of a no-brainer. Remove or find replacement plugins for slower ones. There are always new plugins coming out, stuff you never heard of before, and myself included. And or use Perfmatters or asset cleanup to disable plugins on a per page basis. So we're going to take a look at that. Perfmatters, Rob and I have been talking about this a little bit on Slack channel, and looking at all the things that this thing can do. Let's see, where's it at? Here's our website. So what they're saying is, like, you can go in on to every page and tell it which plugins that you want it to use. So I'm going to show you from my site. I just opened it up. So this is my website again on the staging server, and this is the Script Manager, Perfmatters, and then this is like all the stuff that's on. I didn't do any of the settings. I just installed it and activated it, and then this is what it's showing me for my home page actually. So it's telling me, the SG Optimizer's on. Yoast is on, SiteKit is on, Divi's on, of course. My child theme is activated. and then it's got all these miscellaneous scripts. So all this stuff is loading up on my homepage, regardless if I need it or not. So I'm going to have to go through here and figure out which ones I can turn off and see. Oh, okay. So on the side here, it has the sizes of the things too. So if I really want to get rid of a lot of things, I can stop using Google fonts probably and use local fonts and probably save a million hours of people's time. But this is what it looks like. Again, I haven't went through and figured out how to configure all of this stuff. They're super nice and gave you a documentation link up at the top. So I'll probably be going through that next. But that's Perfmatters, and take a look at it. It's got some really cool like performance stuff on there. I think one of them was where you can run Google Analytics locally or something crazy like that. Asset cleanup, very similar. This one is in the repository. So you can, Perfmatters is a paid for plugin. Asset cleanup is got a free version at least. So I would recommend trying this one at first and going through and seeing if it can help your site speed up a little bit. All these things together will definitely help your site speed up. The caching, the image optimization, the CDN, and then the asset management, all together will help get your site going a lot faster. Oh, we made it to the end, under an hour. All right, awesome. All right, I bet there's probably a lot of questions, and I may or may not have answers to them.
Thank you. That is a really, really great. I've got so many like things to start looking into now for myself because I do have
right. You go down that rabbit hole, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of stuff.